Hey, this is Elle on Wheels. This is about my second shore stop on my Eurodam Christmas cruise. We were there on the 27th in St. Thomas. I took a tour over through the cruise line, the National Park tour over to the Virgin Islands National Park on St. John. It was an all-right tour. The biggest issue I had is we never really stopped and did anything. We just kind of rode around. And I was on the wrong side of the vehicle to get a good video of it. So it is what it is. We met in the Billboard Lounge for this tour. There were 4, 5, 6 different tours that all met together. It was rather disorganized. I think it's because they only had one person there working to begin with. Once they got some more people there to help check people in, it did go much smoother. We were all walked off the ship, and we then got our wristbands and boarded the small boat to go over to the to St. John's. When we arrived at St. John, we pulled into the dock at Cruise Bay, and that was right where the Virgin Islands National Park Visitor Center was, and that is where our tour started. As we got off the boat, we were directed to our open taxis, where we then started our trip driving around the park. Our first stop was at the top of the first hill. From here we could look down into Cruise Bay, and we could also see St. Thomas and St. Croix off in the distance. The national park does take up like 2/3 of the island, but there are some private residences that are still there, including this one that we saw from our first stop. The roads were rather narrow, as you can see right here. Our next overlook stop overlooked Kenneal Bay Resort, which was once owned by Lawrence Rockefeller. It's been closed down because of a hurricane. There are 7 beaches down there, and they're all open to the public, but they're very hard to get to. Off in the distance here, you can see one of the British Virgin Islands, Joost van Dyke. Its most famous bar is the Soggy Dollar Bar, which you can only swim up to. So you have to jump out of your boat and swim up to the bar. And all of your dollars when you get there are soggy. Next up was the 3 beaches of Hawk's Nest Beach, which were part of the Kinneil Bay Resort as well. At our next stop, we got to get out and stretch our legs a little bit. This was an overlook to Trunk Bay. Trunk Bay is the most popular beach in the U.S. Virgin Islands. It was named for the trunk or leatherback turtles. Trunk Bay is also a very popular snorkeling spot. There is a snorkel trail that runs out around this little island you see right here. From this overlook, we could also see some very British islands, including what used to be the Customs Island. And at the end, to the right here, you see Mary's Point, which was the place where a lot of the people in the Revolution committed suicide. They jumped into the water off the end of the point. Up above us was a gated community, more of the private residences within the national park. This is a large termite nest in a tamarind tree. Here is a good view of the type of vehicle that we took our tour in. Just an open-air safari taxi.
So now if you look to your right, we see a sugarcane plantation. It's known as Jensen Plantation, guys. Jensen Plantation. Above left, the round area was the horse mill. By gravity, the juice went to the right, where you see doors and windows. That's the boiling room. Behind of that, where they stored everything. The part that's closest to you, we call this a bagasse shed. So once you got the juice from the cane, whatever left over was placed there to dry, and then later on used as fuel under those pots. When you look at these walls, you notice there are bricks everywhere in these buildings. The reason they put bricks, they came from Denmark in a ship as ballast. Once they got here, put them to use. They took back sugarcane in its place. You also see brain coral from the ocean was used. They mostly would put these around the doors, around the windows, and stuff like this because it's easier to shape compared to stone.
Our next overlook stop was overlooking Francis Bay, which was named for Sir Francis Drake, and Maho Bay Beach, which has the easiest access. It's the shallowest and calmest waters on the island.
fruit right there, the noni. You see that fruit? That's the noni. Here's a better one for you. Noni, right here. What you want to do with the noni? It gets a little different. I got a little lighter green, right? It gets soft. You want to collect these. You want to put this in a stainless steel or glass container. It sits in your house about 6 months. Just by sitting there, it starts to break down and ferment into a juice. You want to take a tablespoon of juice every morning to fight cancer and detox your body. That's what it's good for. The leaves. If anybody have arthritis, gout, any kind of pain, anywhere, steam the leaf, put that on a spot, the pain disappears. So locally we call this the painkiller tree.
This is the area near Maho Bay Beach where you can, there's a bar, some food, cornhole, all sorts of activities that you can do at the beach. Here we are on the East Bend at Coral Bay. This is Hurricane Cove, where a lot of the islanders will park their boats when there's a hurricane coming. Cruise Bay came back into sight as we ended our trip. We returned to the pier area that we left from and then had some time to explore Cruise Bay. I did walk back over to the visitor center and looked around and did some shopping and got pictures of all the signs. Our boat was a little late getting back to pick us up, but we all got on board and headed back over to St. Thomas and they took us right back to near the cruise ship docks. All in all, this was a nice tour. I was a little disappointed in that we didn't get more time to get out and wander around, but when I go back in the future, I'm going to make sure I take a hike and I get to go to one of the beaches and do some snorkeling. Like and subscribe if you're liking my content. Thanks for watching.